Alright, let's do it. During a live show, Jordan Peterson was asked a question. The depths of my consciousness causes me to suffer. Is it a blessing or a curse to feel everything so deeply? To which Peterson said, the only way out is through. You take more of the thing that poisons you until you turn it into a tonic that girdles the world around you. While I think that all of us already know what JP is saying here, let's have some fun and flesh it out a little bit more. In today's video, we're going to talk about why deep thinking is a curse until it becomes a superpower. The obstacle is the way, says Ryan Holiday, and the only way out is through, says JP. So let's go through. Take more of the thing that poisons you. If you're a deep thinker like me, then sometimes it can feel like your mind is the enemy. We suffer more in imagination than we do in reality, says Seneca. So true. Deep thinkers like us are not blessed with blissful unawareness. We have the desire to understand things fully. We want to put ideas and concepts under the microscope and pull them apart to see what's there. But something really strange happens when we do this. When you look at a pixel on a TV close enough, you see that every pixel is made up of red, green, and blue dots. Everything becomes nuanced at a higher resolution, and you must be able to contend with that complexity. If you don't, clarity is lost and direction is hard to find. You're confronted with uncomfortable truths about the world, about human nature, and about yourself. You see things that other people don't, and it makes you feel really lonely because there are less people like you. You are different. So much of your time is spent up in your head, and deep thinkers, would you believe, have the real tendency to overthink, overanalyze, and enumerate on things that happened in the past. I remember just how much I tore myself apart when I failed my driving test by one point. I remember just how much I tore myself apart when I failed every math test in year 11 and 12 in high school. I remember when I was making monthly videos for the channel, and after 100 hours of effort into each video, it would only get 50 views, and that was heartbreaking. Like, I tore myself apart every time that happened, which was every time I uploaded a video. Being too self-aware is a thing I remember JP saying. The moment you become self-aware is the moment you become miserable. There's nowhere to hide when you're looking at yourself. Self-obsession is a recipe for depression, and everyone has a negativity bias, but I think for us deep thinkers, it is amplified. 20 good and positive beliefs that I have about myself can be instantly crushed out by one half-baked negative idea I have about myself. To put it more simply, we really struggle to be kind with ourselves. The Stoics believe that pain is inevitable and cannot be avoided. Pain is the universal language of life. The ancient Hindus believe that what you wanted is hidden beneath a layer of poison. The thing is, deep thinkers grip tightly to preserve control. It's the cortisol version of ourselves, our threat detection system. There's danger here, there, and everywhere. We have a problem to solve, so we have to analyze it and pull it apart until we find a solution. And it isn't until we find that solution that we can allow our nervous system to calm back down. This is useful to stay alive when we were running around in the savannah, but it can cause a great deal of pain. One rubber band at a time, our mind wraps us into a tight, intense ball. And so the answer, as we have been shown through 1,000 years of philosophy, is to take the pain head on, to take more of that poison until you turn it into a tonic. Over the years, I have developed a much better relationship with my mind. There really isn't that many people that would happily go on single multi-day hikes and truly be alone with themselves without a single other person or soul in the general area. And I'm not saying that I am perfect. I still have a long way to go to get to where I want to be, but the improvements are definitely evident. Meditation, mindfulness, and practicing voluntary discomfort has really made the difference for me. One of the core teachings of Buddhism is desire causes suffering. You will suffer when you wish things to be different than how they are. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic, had a similar idea. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This is why I've had cold showers every single morning for the last 7 or so years. Because the more that you tense up against the cold water and try to fight it, the worse the experience is. But if you can anchor yourself to your breath and then allow your body to soften, it isn't exactly pleasant, but it is somewhat enjoyable. It's about learning to lean into the poison, to accept it for what it is, and then to be able to move on. So here's a reframe that I've been thinking about recently. No one will ever get to experience 5% of your depths of consciousness. Your inner landscape is a fascinating place to be if you approached it with humility and curiosity. Humility because you're not above the trivial thoughts of your mind, and curiosity because you want to understand yourself better. But rather than coming from a place of control and judgment, it comes from a place of empathy and exploration. Exploring the texture of your mind is a curious adventure instead of a painful endeavor. Well, that's the ideal to aim for, at least. That girdles the world around you. I saw some clips of Vic Blends doing an interview with Tom Brady, and Tom was saying some stuff like it was really hard to get up and train when all my friends were back home eating pancakes for breakfast. And like, yeah man, I can imagine it was hard. But no one talks about the other side. It would have been far more painful to sit at that table and eat those pancakes than it was to go train. The thing that people don't realize about high performance is their mind torments them to do the thing. It's a compulsion similar to how we want to understand things deeply. That compulsion is a superpower. Being a deep thinker is a superpower. Charles Darwin was undoubtedly a deep thinker, and he came up with the greatest theory in the history of biology. Isaac Newton was a deep thinker and a troubled man. He discovered the laws of motion, the law of gravity, invents integral and differential calculus, and then discovers the law of optics before he turned 26. We are not Charles Darwin or Isaac Newton. I mean, you might be, but I'm definitely am not. My point here is when you think deeply, you see things others don't. You see connections where others see dots. How you direct your thoughts is important. How you aim your focus is important. Danko says you have $1 million trapped in your head. And Dan is a pretty good case study for thinking deeply, observing the world around you, and then making a career out of it. So is Chris Williamson too, by the way. Being a deep thinker is a superpower. Allow the compulsion to run wild. Channel it into building something that is yours and get out of your own way. So yeah, that's all for today, my friends. I hope this video was useful in some way. Being a deep thinker can suck at times, to say the least, but we really can channel it, channel that poison to become a tonic that girdles the world around us. And I really do believe that to be true. So as always, thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.